In this video, we'll uncover the top 5 untold stories of one of history's most legendary figures, Miyamoto Musashi. When you think of a samurai, who comes to mind? Is it a stoic warrior, a master of the blade? For many, that image is Miyamoto Musashi. But he was more than a swordsman. He was a force of nature, a rogue, a philosopher, a legend forged in blood and solitude. Born in 1584, at the dawn of Japan's Edo period, Musashi lived during a time of epic transition. A time when the samurai class was at its peak, and duels were not just a test of skill, but a matter of life and death. He fought his first duel at the age of 13. He won, and from that moment on, his path was set. He would go on to fight over 60 duels, always emerging victorious. He became a master of two-sword fighting, a legendary warrior, but his story is far more complex than just his victories. He had secrets, little-known details that tell the true story of the man behind the myth. Ready to dive in? Here are 5 untold facts about the legendary Miyamoto Musashi. We picture Musashi as an unstoppable force, right? But in his early 20s he faced an opponent unlike any other, a man named Muso Gonosuke. This duel was different. Gonosuke didn't use a sword, he used a staff. The first strike from the staff was so powerful it shattered Musashi's wooden sword. Musashi, known for his calm, was visibly shaken. He dodged the next blow by the narrowest of margins. It was a close call, a moment where the greatest swordsman in history was on the brink of defeat, not by a blade but by a simple piece of wood. The most famous story of Musashi is his duel with Sasaki Kojiro on Ganryu Island, but here's the thing, Musashi was incredibly late, hours late. He showed up disheveled, unkempt, and looked more like a vagabond than a master swordsman. He had carved his famous wooden sword from an oar on his way there. This wasn't a mistake, it was a psychological tactic. He knew his rival was a perfectionist. He wanted to throw Kojiro off balance, to make him wait, to make him angry and distracted. It worked. The fight was over in an instant. A mind game, not just a physical one. Beyond the sword, Musashi was a celebrated artist. He was a master of sumi-e, Japanese inkwash painting. His work wasn't just a hobby, it was a reflection of his philosophy. His paintings, often of birds or mythical figures, are characterized by their raw energy and powerful, confident brushstrokes. He believed that the same principles of movement, balance, and focus that applied to painting also applied to a duel. His most famous painting, Shrike on a Dead Branch, is a testament to this. The man who mastered the art of killing also mastered the art of creating. After his legendary career of duels, Musashi became a teacher. But what he taught was unorthodox. He didn't just teach sword forms, he taught his students to understand their opponents' minds, to read their energy, and to adapt to any situation. He believed the true way of the sword was not in a specific technique but in the absence of one. He even taught them how to win without fighting at all. His students weren't just learning to fight, they were learning to think. As he approached the end of his life, Musashi retreated to a cave called Reigando. He had fought over 60 duels and lived a life of constant motion and conflict, but his final opponent wasn't a man, it was an idea. In that cave he spent his last years writing the Book of 5 Rings. It wasn't just a guide to swordsmanship, it was a philosophical treatise on strategy, on life, on finding harmony between mind and body. He won his final duel, not with a sword, but with a quill. But here's the most shocking detail of all. Musashi's final resting place is not with a gravestone, but with a piece of his own art. His tomb is said to contain the very tools he used to write his final masterpiece, his inkstone and brush. The man who lived and died by the sword was ultimately laid to rest with the tools of a poet and a scholar. A final, powerful statement that his legacy wasn't just one of violence but of wisdom. From a restless duelist to a contemplative philosopher, Miyamoto Musashi's story is a reminder that a true legend is not defined by a single skill, but by the depth of their character. If you enjoyed these untold stories, subscribe for more captivating tales from history. And let me know in the comments, what other historical figure do you want us to explore?